We are continuing with our July series called Unchained Spirituality. And we're exploring the Yellow Brick Road of Freedom in our story of the Wizard of Oz. You know, every summer we do this Sizzling Summer series where we talk about things that are a little more lighthearted, just in the celebration of summertime. And this month we're using the Wizard of Oz as our platform to explore this. And we left our heroes last week. If you were with us or watching, you remember that they were given the task of facing their fears and capturing the broomstick of the Wicked Witch of the West. Remember, the Wizard of Oz said, "Go and bring me the broomstick of the Wicked Witch of the West, and then I'll grant you your desires." And my talk today is, the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. And I've always loved that mystical saying from the Bible, and I've deepened into it as I have continued on my own spiritual journey, my own spiritual path, about what exactly that means. The truth will set you free. And I have realized on my own journey the truth of what Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith says about the spiritual path, that is really about letting go. It's not about learning everything you can learn. It's really about letting go a lot of the stuff we think we need. A lot of the stuff, not physical things necessarily, but the burdens of our mind, the beliefs that we carry. So it is letting go. For me, it's been letting go of things that no longer serve me. It's letting go of fears that no longer scare me, but might still be there, but they don't really scare me anymore. And it's letting go of memories or habits that no longer bring me comfort or bring me joy. So it's letting go of those types of things. And my goal, my purpose is joy, and my path is love as I go on this journey. And I release anything that's not like that. When I have that focus of joy in my life and love in my life, I've got something that I can measure things against, right? That I can then let go of more easily, things that don't serve that purpose or goal for me. Because the truth is, we are better, greater, wiser, and stronger than we've ever believed that we are. And that means each and every one of us. So let's catch up with our friends, Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Lion, and Tin Man, as they enter the haunted forest. They must go through the haunted forest to get to the wicked witch's castle. Well, they get into the forest, and they get attacked by flying monkeys. Remember the monkeys, the witch's evil monkeys that come and they attack the group in the forest, and then they kidnap Dorothy and Toto and fly them off into the castle and deposit her with the witch. And if you remember this witch from the beginning of the story, she was pretty mad at Dorothy because Dorothy dropped her house on her sister, right? And she took the ruby red slippers off of her sister's feet. And these were magical and powerful ruby red slippers. And the wicked witch wants revenge, and she wants those slippers. But then we find out in the very first scene that she can't have the slippers unless Dorothy is no longer in existence. Dorothy must die in order for the slippers to come off of her feet. Oh my. Meanwhile, back in the haunted forest, the group of friends is putting themselves back together, literally and figuratively. They kind of knocked the stuffing out of the Scarecrow. But who happens to show up but Toto? Toto escapes the monkeys and the witch in the castle and comes running back to the forest to get them to come and rescue Dorothy. Well, who comes up with the plan? Our brainless Scarecrow, right? The brainless Scarecrow, who thinks he's not smart, comes up with the plan of how to get into the castle. And who leads the charge up the mountain, leads the team, but our cowardly Lion. And who is crying and sobbing the whole way, worried and fretting about Dorothy, is our Tin Man. So we are seeing in them demonstrated the very thing that they have gone to the wizard and said, "I don't have, I'm lacking. Please give me intelligence, courage, and bravery." Or intelligence, courage, and compassion. But they're demonstrating that, aren't they? They're demonstrating that. So they get into the castle. They rescue Dorothy out of the witch's chamber, and they're racing out. Yay! Dorothy's safe. But as we say, we recognize that our characters have the very thing that they say they're seeking. And we do that same thing, don't we? We sometimes think we are not smart enough. We are not brave enough. We are not strong enough. We're not wise or creative enough. And we hold back from stepping into something new or something wonderful. We hold back. But in truth, we all have within us already that which we seek. We already have within us that which we seek if we just allow it to come forward, if we allow it to come out, if we let go of the fear. We let go of the fear. But we like to get distracted by haunted forests, flying monkeys, evil witches, maybe a sensationalized newscast or two. We get distracted from the truth of who we are, the truth of our very being. Ernest Holmes is the founder of the Centers for Spiritual Living, of which we're a part. He's also the author of The Science of Mind, the textbook we teach from. And he says that everything originates in the One, comes from the same source, and returns again to it. As God's thought makes worlds and peoples them with living things, so our thought makes our world and peoples it with experiences. By the activity of our thought, things come into our life, and we are limited only because we have not known the truth. We have thought that outside things controlled us when all the time we have had that within which could have changed everything and given us freedom from bondage. Ernest Holmes wrote those words in 1926, 1938, when he wrote The Science of Mind. The original Wizard of Oz was written in 1900. Don't know if he read the story, have no idea. But every time I read that line, I always think of Dorothy. I always think of the Wizard of Oz. All the time we have had that within which could have changed everything and given us freedom from bondage. And it's true of us. We have within us that which can free us. Anything that we experience, we know is first a thought, right? Whether it's conscious or not, it's a thought. And our heroes were not consciously aware that they were already demonstrating the very things that they were seeking from the wizard. They were not aware of that, were they? But here they were. We can see it on screen or read it in the book that they are in fact demonstrating those qualities that they had gone to the wizard in fear and trepidation and said, I need this. I need this. They had to capture the broomstick to get what they wanted from the wizard, but then they had to rescue Dorothy. It became a different mission, didn't it? They had to rescue their friend Dorothy from the wicked witch. But all through it, they continue to demonstrate to us who they are. Well, as I said, they got Dorothy, and they're trying to escape from the castle, and they get surrounded by the castle guards and the wicked witch. They're trapped. And the wicked witch, she's kind of mean, right? She is telling Dorothy that, okay, I've had enough of this nonsense. I want those ruby slippers, and to get them, I have to take your life. But I'm gonna punish you a little bit more, and I'm gonna take all your friends and your little dog too. Then I'm gonna take yours. So you get to suffer even more. She's not a very nice person, is she? So she decides to start with the weakest one, the easiest one, which would be the straw man, the scarecrow. She lights her broom on fire. She lights the scarecrow on fire. He bursts into flame. Dorothy, out of fear and her compassion for her friend, grabs a bucket of water and tosses it on her friend to put the fire out. And it also splashes over to the wicked witch. And it's that famous scene we all remember where she melts, right? I'm melting, right? I should have gotten the recording. But she melts into a puddle. And she's gone. And she's gone. And there's celebration all around. Our heroes are celebrating. Oh my gosh, Dorothy is safe. We're safe. The witch is gone. Guess who else is celebrating? The castle guards. The castle guards are celebrating because they too now are free of this wicked witch's employment. So Dorothy asked for the broomstick, and they said, of course, that's yours. It's yours. You can have the broomstick. And I love the metaphor of the water on the witch. Any problems we have, just sprinkle it with a little holy water and off it goes, right? Yeah. I love that metaphor. Can it be that simple that we can get rid of our villains and fears with a little holy water? Or do we have to struggle and wrestle with them a little bit longer? Can we just, like Dorothy, allow our problems to go away in a splash? So, they're now heading back to the Emerald City, right? They've got their broomstick. They've done what they said they were going to do. They've done everything. They've completed their mission. They're going back to the Emerald City. They go in to see the wizard, and they say, we've got the broomstick. The witch is dead. And the wizard says, well, I'm a bit surprised to see you alive. I need a bit more time. Come back tomorrow. Well, you can imagine they were angry and maybe fearful that here they've done this thing that he told them to do in exchange for getting their desires met, and he's putting them off. And Dorothy gets upset. And Dorothy says, no, that's not fair. You can't do that. And she's arguing with the big giant wizard. And this is where Toto wanders over and begins to pull back the curtain. Remember that? Don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain. And they discover that there is no wizard. There's just a man. There's just a man. Not the big scary head that they've been talking to. Been talking to any big scary heads? It's not as big and scary as we think it is. It's just the man behind the curtain. Have we made up stories about how scary things can be? But maybe, after all the drama and everything is going on there, the man is not a bad man. He's a bad wizard, but he's not a bad man. And he agrees, in fact, that he's going to help them. So again, our scarecrow, he wants a brain. He's been saying that through the whole show. I want a brain, I want a brain. But the wizard says, anybody can have a brain. You need a diploma. You need a diploma. So he gives him one with his THD, his doctorate of thinkology. Tells him he needs to think big thoughts. And immediately you see the scarecrow blossom, right? And our lion, who thought he had no courage, the wizard says, you're simply a victim of disorganized thinking. Anybody ever been a victim of disorganized thinking? He says, just because you're confusing, just because you run from danger, you're just confusing courage and wisdom. Courage and wisdom. He calls him a hero, and he gives him a Triple Cross medal for meritorious conduct, extraordinary valor, conspicuous bravery against wicked witches, and inducts him into the Legion of Courage. Remember his big old medal? And the Tin Man, who wants a heart. The Tin Man who wants a heart. And he says all you need is a testimonial. That's all you need. So he gives him one, and he recognizes his kindness, presents him with a small token of his esteem and appreciation, and leaves him with some very sage advice, a classic line. He says, a heart is not judged by how much you love, but how much you are loved by others. And I think our Tin Man was loved by the others in the group, don't you? So all of our heroes got their prizes awarded by the wonderful Wizard of Oz. All received these physical tokens of the external things to demonstrate to them their inner strength. This is such a human dilemma, isn't it? We think we need the diploma to be smart. We think we need the medal to be brave. We think we need the testimonial to have a heart. And we seek after these external things rather than recognizing we already possess everything within us that we need. We couldn't. Have you ever heard the phrase, you don't know what you don't know? If we don't know what we don't know, how can we know we're missing something if we don't already have it? Right? It's kind of logical. So we already have within us anything that we desire, that we're looking for and seeking outside of ourselves. We already have it. We're seeking external validation for our inner convictions that we already know about ourselves. And that's what this whole movie is demonstrating for us. And again, it is this human dilemma, the diploma, the medal, the testimonial. It may be the house, it may be the car, it may be the award, the finest schools, the right neighborhoods. Whatever it is in our reality today, none of it is wrong. Good is good, right? Would you agree? Good is good? Yes. The challenge that we face is that we believe sometimes we're not whole because of the lack of that external. We sometimes believe that we're not whole. But in truth, we are. We are already whole, perfect, and complete. But you might be wondering, what about Miss Dorothy? Does the wizard have anything in his little black bag to get Dorothy home? Remember, that's the whole point of the movie. She wants to get back to Kansas. Well, in fact, he happens to be a balloonist. And he happens to know where Kansas is, and he's going to just fly her right back there in his big old balloon. So we gather on the platform, and they're ready to go, and Dorothy's in the basket. They've all said their goodbyes, and the wizard is waving goodbye to everybody in Emerald City, and Toto looks out in the audience and sees a Siamese cat. And off he goes. He jumps out of the basket, and he goes running after the shiny object. Anybody ever done that? Oops, squirrel. Dorothy jumps out of the basket, goes after Toto, starts telling the wizard, please don't leave, wait for me. Tin Man drops the rope and all the excitement, and the balloon begins to rise without Dorothy and Toto. And the wizard's going, I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to bring it back down. He floats away. So Dorothy has Toto. She comes back to the platform, and she's with her friends, and she's upset, of course. She wanted to go home. And her friends say, Dorothy, we love you. Just stay here. We love you. Just stay here with us. And about this time, we see the beautiful pink orb begin to float down into the Emerald City towards the platform. Perfect right order, divine timing. Sometimes all that we need is a change in perspective, to break our bondage of thought, or as Holmes says, to know the truth. Because knowing that truth within us will absolutely set us free of the bondage of our thoughts. It will set us free into new perspectives. One of the basic ideas of the science of mind is that the infinite, the source, whatever name we might call God, the divine, it's one. It is one. And we are a point of life in that one life. And as we begin to embody this and understand this and live from this place, we can begin to discard those things that no longer serve us. We can begin to let go. We can begin to accept and discover our own freedom. In reality, we also have all this power available to us. The power to change our lives, the power to heal, the power to be happy and successful. We just need to claim it. We just need to claim it. Ernest Holmes said, all life, all health, all peace, and all possibility exist in this power. It is a knowledge of this and the conscious use of this knowledge which will give freedom. Our loneliness, our sense of isolation, our poverty, doubt, and sickness are results of being disconnected from the fullness of this divine self. Feeling that we're separate from it in some way, which is an impossibility. So what power have you not accepted that lies within inside you? What do you think you're not worthy of? Is it love, wealth, creativity, success, happiness, health? Contacting infinite intelligence, daily spiritual practice. Recognizing the spirit within us as us, accepting the laws of creation and moving with it in harmony, in rhythm. There's a harmony to life. It's the divine order and perfect timing of life. When we accept and discover and experience this harmony, it adjusts and enriches our lives. Adjusts, brings us into alignment, and enriches our lives. The choice and the discovery and the freedom, that's ours for the taking. It's ours for the taking. So let's look at some spiritual practices and principles and see how we might be able to practice some of this week. And if you're not on our Mindful Monday email to get the notes and quotes and things from today's talk, you can sign up in the lobby, or if you're online, you can send me an email and I'll put you on the list for this week's mail. So number 1, what present lies unopened or undiscovered within you? What present? When we think about the courage of the lion, the intelligence of the scarecrow, and the compassion of the Tin Man as they rescue Dorothy from the witch, consider the following questions in your contemplation this week. How am I a victim of disorganized thinking? The lion was confusing courage and wisdom. Ask yourself, how am I a victim of disorganized thinking? What am I confusing in my life? And see if you get a different perspective. How am I not allowing my gifts to be expressed in my life? How am I not open to receive or to give my gifts in my life? And where am I doubting my own magnificence? Where am I doubting my intelligence? Where am I doubting my courage? Where am I doubting myself? I'm a magnificent expression of the divine. How could I have doubt about that? Number 2, how are you using your freedom? We've been talking about freedom all month. This is the July month of freedom, right? How are you using it? Consider Ernest Holmes' definition of freedom. It's from the glossary in the back of the Science of Mind text. He says, real freedom means that we are created in the image of perfection and let alone and allowed to make the discovery for ourselves. Perfect spiritual beings, created in the image of the Most High, the Most Perfect, and put on our way to go discover that magnificence. It's the Jesus teaching of not hiding our light under a basket, but to allow it to shine. What have you discovered about yourself? And how are you using your freedom? So our friends, Miss Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion, just like each of us, have within the divine, perfect presence of God. And we have our human frailties and our doubts and our fears, right? It's part of being human. It's part of the package. But by recognizing these limitations in consciousness and applying the principles of the science of mind, we can change our thinking and we can change our experience of life. As Holmes says, everything starts in thought. So the next time that it appears your ship has sailed or your balloon has floated away, it's just not possible. It's just not possible. That just wasn't your transport for the day. Something else is coming. Perhaps a pink orb is on its way to you as well. So let's continue on our journey to freedom and follow that yellow brick road. So it is. I want to close with a quote from Ernest Holmes and move into prayer this morning. And I think this is a good quote for us and where we are today in the world of effects, if you will. He says, in the moments of greatest human tragedy, individually or collectively experienced, nothing in nature is changed. The integrity of the universe is not violated, nor the will of truth disturbed. The fundamental harmony, beauty, love, and wisdom of the universe are not violated. I think that's an important reminder for us today as we do get caught up in the pandemic of virus and the pandemic of fear that we're dealing with globally across our planet, is to remember that the laws of nature are still in effect, that things haven't changed there. Fundamental harmony, beauty, love, and wisdom of the universe are still present all around us. We're just having an effect within that right now. So join me now as we go into prayer and unite with that wholeness that we are. Recognizing God and nothing else, the one present, the one life, the one love, that is all that there is. It is joy, it is harmony, it is beauty, it is peace, it is infinite health, it is creativity, it is just the all that is. It is indescribable in its infiniteness, in its power, in its love. Just recognizing the expanse of the universe and knowing that that is but a drop in the divine. It is that and so much more. And we see it abundantly replicated on our planet. The grains of sand on a beach, the stars in the sky, the wonderful sunshine that we experience. Life expressing on this planet. And expressing in, through, and as me, as an individualized and unique expression of it. With those qualities of the divine, the beauty, the harmony, the love, the joy, the peace. And as I know this of myself, knowing that oneness, knowing the wholeness in which I exist, I know that we are all that which it is. We are that point of life in life. Individualized expressions of this one infinite presence, this one love. So, from this place, I speak my word for and about each one of us, knowing collectively the good that we are, the good that we experience, the good that we give, the good that we receive. I know that there is peace in our hearts and our minds, and that as we walk that peace, that it is reflected back to us through that beautiful law of reflection. And I know as we are individualized and unique expressions of this one, that we are that power, we are that presence, and that life unfolds exactly as it should, in perfect right timing, in perfect right order. And so it is with a grateful heart that I just release this into the action of law, the activity of mind, knowing that it is done and it is so. And we affirm this together by saying, and so it is.